Hello. I injured my ankle and I can't get downstairs to where I normally film, so I'm filming outside for the time being. I should be back downstairs in front of my bookshelves next week. I hope. Anyway, I posted a community post asking you to roast my favorite books. I love a good funny or petty 1-star review, so I asked y'all to do that to my favorites so that we could all just hang out and laugh a little bit. And I've just read the top post, and it's so rude. Betrayed by my own friend. Peter Pan is nothing more than a mediocre fairy tale meant to normalize being kidnapped by small children. I want to go fly away. Timmy, your yearbook photo is getting full page that year and distributed on milk cartons. This is such an annoyingly good one, Daniel. Normalize kidnapping children. So inappropriate. Oh no! We all have those friends who tell really long, overly detailed stories that are incredibly boring and take forever. You're stuck there wondering what the point is up until the very end, and when you get there, you realize that there wasn't even really a point to begin with. Yeah, so that was The Haunting of Hill House. That's actually really true, but like not. That's really accurate. I don't have an argument for that, but I loved that book so much. It's so funny because when I read it, there were people that basically said exactly that. They were like, nothing's happening. This isn't interesting. And I'm like, the shadows are wrong. The door just slammed. Like, oh no. The Wise Man's Fear was an extremely tasteful novel. Right, especially the second half. Super good. Mistborn fun fact, Ellen is the German word for misery, and that's exactly what I felt while reading the second and third books of Era 1, especially with Ellen's own POV chapters, because he's so painfully boring. Also, what is it with Sanderson and his romantic relationships with just mildly questionable age gaps? He does have a pattern, you're right. Oh my gosh, so many people think that Well of Ascension is painfully boring, and it's my favorite in the trilogy. I thought it was so interesting, and I love Ellen. He's so noble, and he's trying so hard to do right. But it is very much a political novel. How did you think book 3 was boring, though? What did it do to you? There was so much action. And it's so tragic at times. The German word for misery, that is so unfortunate. But Elend is his own misery sometimes, so also accurate. Oh, no. If you think the Epic of Gilgamesh is a contemporary masterpiece, you sure will love The Grace of Kings and its so realistic characters. The Grace of Kings is an epic of its own. You're right. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. I agree. That's what you were getting at, right? Right? Lock is not a name. It's a thing to keep a shed door shut. My cat would disagree. Fun fact, my older neighbor, when she's out of town, we take care of her animals, and when we're out of town, she checks in on my cat, and she thinks his name is Luck, and I've never corrected her. The Wheel of Time is one of those epic stories that should have been an email. Oh, that's such a good one! For someone who complained about the lack of death in Harry Potter, you seem fine with it in One Piece. I don't think I've ever seen someone escape as many deadly situations as Luffy. If anything, he should be dead, not Harry. Okay, first of all, I did not ask for a roast of me. I asked for a roast of my favorite stories. And second, I don't understand your roast, because that's gotta be the thing that I have complained about the most in One Piece. Like, consistently, that's what I bring up constantly. That I hate the fake out deaths so much. So it's a good roast, but an inaccurate one. The Lord of the Rings has so many descriptions of the environment, it feels more like Middle Earth travel guide than a novel. I love landscape descriptions, be it in Lord of the Rings, The Ember Blade, insert any beautiful nature-based setting. The Secret Garden, deeply flawed book. I wanted more descriptions of the garden and less plot, and that book is at least half descriptions of a garden. Lifeship Traders is really just a well-written trilogy that requires every single character to not communicate properly in order for issues to arise that have to be dealt with. Issues that never would have happened in the first place if any of these morons would bother talking to each other. I think that is a more apt description of Fitz, and I don't think I agree. Because, like, if you sat down and had a conversation with Kyle, would he be like, okay, I'm gonna stop being a selfish pig? Would he be like, no problem, here's your ship back? No big deal, I'll stop kidnapping my son? That's not a spoiler. It's barely even an accurate description of what happened. I mean, it is true. It is true that Hobb relies very strongly on characters being super bad and just, like, basic human interactions. So you're absolutely right. But I also think that she creates characters that are so obtuse and so, like, I'm looking at you too, Malta, and I love you dearly. But characters that are so stubborn that sit them in a room, talk to them for hours, it doesn't matter. They're gonna be idiots. Which is also a valid 1-star complaint that so many of her characters are absolute morons and have to learn lessons the hardest way possible. Not morons as in stupid, just, you know, they're playing life on hard mode. After reading the first Law trilogy, I have to applaud Joe Abercrombie on being the Seinfeld of books. It's a series about nothing. That's so rude. That is. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. The Hobbit. A group of generic evil monsters wanted to eat the heroes. The heroes escaped. A different group of generic evil monsters wanted to eat the heroes. Heroes escaped. A different group of... Oh man, I love this roast because I agree with it. So I love The Lord of the Rings, but I'm not actually a very big fan of The Hobbit for this exact reason. It's so repetitive in formula that after like 2 sequences, it's like, well, I know what's happening next. And yes, I do know that it was first told as a children's tale. I don't care. This is an excellent roast, mostly because it didn't roast one of my favorites, and I agree with it. The only horror in Frankenstein is the writing style. It's so beautifully written. What do you mean? Buggy is such a trivial non-entity, he was outshined by his live-action counterpart. Okay. I said don't attack me. I said attack my favorites. And Buggy is off limits. Like 100%. How dare you? How could you? This is hate. I've just received hate. First of all, the live-action Buggy is a different kind of character. They're both murderous clowns. One leans a little bit further into memes, and one leans a little bit further into psychosis. They're different versions of the same character, and they're both wonderful. Second, manga Buggy is amazing. Get out. One Piece is a great rough draft. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna give that one to you. Leia from the Remnant Chronicles is just Diet Selena Sardathian. What? I know like 2 people are gonna understand those 2 things, but the Remnant Chronicles was a series I loved when I first started BookTube. And Selena Sardathian is the main character of a book series that I really didn't like when I first started BookTube. Sarah J. Maas. You might know that name. What? How though? One's an assassin and one's a princess. One is edgelord, I'm so cool, I could kill everyone in this room, but watch me do none of it. And the other is a noble person trying to well, she didn't start out, she started running away, but then she comes into her destiny. One's stupid enough to eat some random chocolates that show up by her bed in the middle of an assassin competition where everybody's killing each other, and the other one actually has a brain. The Magicians was a strong feminist tract that gave nuance to critical issues facing the modern student. This isn't really a roast, it's just ironic. Only people who have a sad and miserable social life find books about characters good, friendship comforting. Looking at the lives of Laura and One Piece. Why are you making it so personal? There have been so many personal ones. I mean, I know I said roast my faves, so I guess that's why. But that was about me. Guards is just nonsense made to sound good. It seemed like there was no reason anything happened. It just did. Vimes was the only thing holding it up. I agree. Vimes is a wonderful character. What a great review of Vimes. Oh, Guards was so funny. And there's so much goodness in it. Lord of the Rings is a story about walking when they finally left the Shire. Walk, yay, action! Well, that's over. More walking. Okay, we're gonna end it on this. Locke is a direct ripoff of Daffy Duck from Looney Tunes, and you can't convince me otherwise. I need you to explain this. Whoever you are, please come into the comments of this video and explain this. I want a thesis on this comparison because this is quite possibly the best thing I've ever read. Thank you all for submitting some roasts and 1-star reviews for some of my favorite stories. This was an easy and fun video for me to do when I can't really do much right now. So I appreciate you making me laugh, even if you went really hard sometimes. There were a lot of reviews for some of my most talked about series, so I tried to pick and choose to give a little bit of variety, but y'all really hate Locke, which I already knew. It's okay, I love him enough for all of us. Also, sorry about the dogs. Thank you again. Feel free to leave more roast and 1-star reviews in the comments if you like. I post videos every Monday and Friday on this channel, Tuesdays and Thursdays on my review channel, where you can keep up with what I'm reading week to week. I have weekly reading vlogs, I have spoiler-filled reviews, so we can talk more there. That's always linked in the description, as well as my Patreon, where we buddy read everything I read. I'll see you again soon. Bye.